नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय दाय नमो नमः। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनच्छलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः तदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् शरणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी शुभानुस्ते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमद् स्वामी पादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नाम्ने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष कम गुरुति वाचालम पंगुम लंघे यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्री गुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवम श्री चैतन्य। हरि ओम। हरे कृष्ण। So thank you all for coming. It's also auspicious day today. By Vaishnav Tithi, today is Mahashivratri observation. Even though from a Smartha perspective, the celebration was yesterday for most part of, for, for most devotees who celebrate Mahashivratri or observe it. So all glories to Lord Shiva. To get some time towards the end of the class, we'll also discuss a little bit on that topic. We seek the blessings of Lord Shiva by glorifying him. So we want to continue the pastime of Vritrasura. So we are discussing today the 11th chapter of the 6th canto. This particular subsection of the 6th canto, the pastimes of Vritrasura, is also is a very interesting saga of the many lifetimes of a very great soul. Went through very interesting situations and circumstances on his way going back home, back to Godhead. So this is also gives us an idea that we should not expect necessarily. I started chanting, then I lived happily ever after, and I went back to Godhead. So to live happily ever after, actually it can be that way. It's not that it is impossible. It's possible. But unfortunately for us, our hearts have so much contamination that some excitement is necessary while we are in this material world. Produce the required purification. Otherwise, it will just take too long. So it's not that Krishna enjoys to give misery to his devotees, but pain is the best teacher. That is the reality. Very few people simply, correct? If you tell somebody material life is miserable, Yes, I accept you, whatever you say, Prabhu. I mean, even if they say like that, it doesn't bring about the necessary transformation because there's no actual realization of that state. Unless a living entity is beaten up, even after coming to spiritual life for many lifetimes, doesn't come to that firm conclusion. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So anyway, so that's a big topic by itself. So the lives of these great souls, as explained by the Bhagavatam, also should set our expectations. Of course, Bhagavatam highlights extraordinary examples, sometimes very extreme. So not to say that you also have to become a demon before we can go back to Godhead. So you don't have to draw that extrapolation. Uh, but the point is that even great souls, it's not that it becomes difficult only for us at our level, even at very advanced stages, because there are impurities even at very advanced stages. And sometimes, even if there are not impurities, the Lord uses such great souls to uh, demonstrate by their own examples how to deal with difficult situations so that we may draw inspiration. So, both ways, either ways. So, these are interesting lessons for us. So, this pastime of Vritrasura is especially exciting. The topic of the sixth canto being Poshanam, how the Lord protects and nourishes his devotees. In this case, a classic Devasura conflict, Indra versus Vritrasura. The war has just started. Uh, Indra, having performed, we discussed in the previous chapters, having performed the offense of killing Vishwarupa, the Brahmin priest was doing yajnas because he was, according to Indra's perception, cheating the Devatas by also doing an offering for the Asuras. So he became upset. He chopped off the three heads of Vishwarupa. And Vishwarupa's father, Tvasta, creates a fire, invokes a yajna, creates the fiery Vritrasur, the brother of Vishwarupa. So Vritrasur doesn't have a mother, he only has a father. Because Tvasta creates him from the fire. He's sent to avenge the death of his brother. So then this whole conflict has come about, and that is the subject matter of the discussion. In the last chapter, we discussed how when the armies of the Devatas and the demons headed by Vritrasura, Vritrasura was accompanied by very, very powerful demoniac soldiers. We discussed their names also. And they are all prominent residents of the lower planets. I'm not going to go back into that topic, but you recollect, we discussed they're all Namuchi, this one, that one, very prominent demons who are mentioned as prominent residents of the lower planet. So they all group together with Vritrasura as their leader and Indra and the Devatas on the other side. We also discussed how, as the battle began, the demons showered their weapons on the Devatas. And the Devatas intercepted all their missiles, their trajectories mid-air, counteracted them. And the demons were in disarray. So that is where kind of and the demons started running. And Vritrasura was telling the demons, why you are running? This is not proper Kshatriya conduct. You must stand up and fight. If you die, you'll go to heaven. And if uh, live, you will enjoy the kingdom. Of course, go to heaven in the sense that they're already fighting on a planetary system, which is probably not even the Earth, but you'll get a higher destination. So Vritrasur is telling them that you must perform your Kshatriya dharma. Because Yuddhe apalayanam, not running away in a battle. It's one of the very important characteristics that a person who is of Kshatriya disposition is expected to. Even in the face of certain death, if it is a matter of facing the enemy and sacrificing one's life, that kind of heart a Kshatriya is expected to have. So when a person shows his back to the enemy and runs away, that is considered extremely cowardly. In fact, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, If you now quit the battle at this critical juncture, your enemies will speak unkind words about you. They'll say, oh, after he saw our 11 Akshani army, Arjuna's hands and legs started trembling. We saw his hands and legs trembling on the battlefield, and then he ran away because he was cowardly. And that will be worse than death for you. That is what Krishna tells Arjuna. For a Kshatriya, his entire reputation is based on his shaurya, chivalry. So if he is counted as a coward, that is the worst insult to a Kshatriya. So Vritrasura, is chastising the demons. Don't run away, face, fight. It's okay if you die, go to heaven. So he was standing firm, but nobody was listening to him. So as this was happening, the Devatas took opportunity. They said, oh, the demons' army is in disarray. Let us not miss this chance. So the Asuras were anyway fleeing. So they were also behaving against their dharma. But also it is the dharma of the Kshatriya that if somebody is running away, you don't chase them behind their back and kill them. Yeah. If somebody surrenders or is running away, it is not Kshatriya dharma to kill. So Kshatriyas also followed. In those times, there was even amongst the fighters, this was the kind of protocol established. What to speak of, killing innocents and looting villages and troubling people. That was never done amongst the Kshatriyas. Those are the looters, the dacoits, the invaders. They are considered low class. They are not considered Kshatriyas. They are considered organized dacoits. All these invaders. They are not called Kshatriyas. So, the demigods apparently, the armies, in order to slaughter the demons, they intercepted them from behind and from all over the place. They pounced on them helplessly as the demons were trying to run away. They were being slaughtered. So Vritrasura became very upset. He was already upset that the demons were running. He became even more upset that the Devatas are also betraying their dharma. These people are running and these people are killing the people who are running. So he started chastising now the Devatas. You hopeless. I was thinking only these people are hopeless. You are also hopeless. Huh? You are also not following your dharma. What is this? Huh? These demoniac soldiers are anyway hopeless. You are killing them. What kind of devatas are you? This is very inglorious. This kind of feat in a war doesn't bring glory. In fact, it brings sins. If you think you are actually heroes, he's telling the devata soldiers, if you think you're actually heroes, I am standing here. You fight. Let the others run away. Fight with those who are standing here. Why you are trying to kill those who are running away? Stand in front of me even for a moment and see what happens. Yeah. So this is how Kshatriyas taunt each other and fight. So it is considered quite normal. So when he was, started roaring like this and, hearing his roar, the Devata soldiers became a bit unnerved. So Indra, seeing the situation, he immediately wanted to make sure that his troops are not terrified. So he took up a club, a very, very powerful, some kind of a mace, some gada. Very, very powerful one, which practically nobody has ever countered. This is not the Vajra, this is some other weapon. And he hurled it towards Vritrasura. Very, very deadly. Vritrasura was least bothered. He just raised his left hand and he caught that mace mid-air. Caught it and he flung it back from where it came. And that mace went and hit Airavat, on which the elephant on which Indra was sitting, badly on his face, like a big slap. It is said Airavat was bleeding from his mouth. And Airavat is a very, very huge elephant. Very powerful, very huge. It is said Airavat was pushed back by the force of that mace which Vritrasura hurled 14 steps or 14 yards he was pushed behind together with Indra. Huh? And he was pushed behind and he collapsed with Indra, together with Indra. Indra also fell down. Indra and Airavat were, like totally shocked. This is like, this doesn't happen to Indra. This doesn't happen to Airavat. Somebody can hit with such a force that Indra will be, Airavat will be pushed. Imagine a huge elephant. This is not uh, an elephant of this planet. Airavat is, Krishna says, amongst the elephants, I am Airavat in the Bhagavad Gita. Amongst the horses, I am Uchchaishravas. Amongst the elephants, I am Airavat. So, very, 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 very powerful. So, to push them behind so much, it's very, very. I just remembered one episode from the Mahabharata. I just want to narrate. Something similar happened. Arjuna and Karna were facing each other in battle in the Mahabharata war at one point. So I don't know who sent the arrow first. Was it Karna or Arjun? One of them sent an arrow and it hit the chariot. I think Arjuna hit a chariot of Karna first with his arrow. And similarly, the force of the arrow was so much that the chariot moved behind by some X feet. And Karna hit an arrow and it hit Arjuna's chariot. And Arjuna's chariot went back by X feet. Same amount of feet, same number of feet. And when Karna hit the arrow and the chariot went back by X feet, Krishna said, "Bravo, wonderful, Karna, wonderful." Arjuna is shocked. I hit my arrow. Karna's chariot also went X feet behind. He hit the arrow. My chariot also went X feet behind. But for my feet, Krishna did not give me thumbs up. He hit, and he's glorifying Karna, my enemy. What is this? So Arjuna said, Krishna, what is this? I did same thing. You didn't appreciate. He did. You are appreciating. So Krishna smiled and looked at Arjuna and said, Arjuna, please understand. You hit his chariot and you pushed it by X feet. But please understand, on your chariot, Hanumanji is sitting on the top. And I personally, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is sitting on the Ratha. And he pushed it X feet behind. He only pushed a chariot on which Karna is sitting. So what he did is even more appreciable than what you achieved. Oh, yeah, true. The chariot on which Hanumanji is sitting on the flag, on which Krishna is sitting personally. So that's a very amazing feat. So to push Airavat together with Indra 14 feet behind, it's very, very extraordinary. Indra was, like really rattled. And Indra was almost like, not knowing what to do. Actually, Indra was at that time in such a vulnerable position that actually Vritrasura could have taken the opportunity in that state when he was dislodged and fallen from Airavat. He could have hurled another weapon and killed Indra on the spot. But Vritrasura was very fixed in his Kshatriya dharma. He just waited. Said, I don't attack a person who's bereft of weapons and fallen on the ground. And Indra was also quite surprised. Vritrasura did not immediately attack Indra with weapons, but he started attacking Indra with sharp words, started chastising. Killer of my brother, you useless fellow. What kind of a person are you? You are king of the Devatas, so they say, but just look at your behavior, what you have done. You killed my brother who was your priest, a Brahmana. You killed a Brahmana who was performing sacrifices for you. And for what? For a kingdom? What kind of nobility is that? Right? Because at the end of the day, the whole reason why Indra was taking Vishwarup's help was so that the Devatas become powerful and they can, regain control over the heavenly planets. So today I will kill you, Indra, and I will take revenge for my brother's life. So very, very sharp words. Calls Indra butcher. And he says, I will kill you and vultures will eat your flesh. That you are such a lowly kind of behavior you have shown. Behavior which is where you have shown that your personality is devoid of any shame, any mercy, any glory, or any good fortune. You have shown that by your activities. So you are actually a condemned person. So anyway, in such words, Vritrasura is chastising Indra and he warns all the other devatas around. If any one of you also attack me, you will meet a fate. I will immediately sever your head and I will offer it in the sacrifice to Lord Bhairav. So the demons are fond of worshipping Lord Shiva in the form of Bhairav. Worship of Bhairav is a more tamasic form of Shiva worship. Lord Shiva also has many forms. Typically, Bhairav form is worshipped more with not so sattvic rituals, to be more specific. So, Vritrasura first chastises Indra like this. You're hopeless, and I'm going to get rid of you. But deep within his heart, Vritrasura knows the reality. Because Vritrasura has a background, and that background will come in the later chapters in this canto itself, where it is explained who is this Vritrasura. Vritrasura actually in his heart knows. He knows very well why he is born. He knows very well what is the destiny. He knows very well what is the desire of the Lord. And he knows that even though I have been created to kill Indra, actual destiny is that Indra is supposed to kill me. He knows. So after chastising Indra, he then tells Indra, I want to kill you, but if you kill me also, no problem. Why? Because if you kill me in this battle, actually good for me. I just want to be rid of this body. I want to be free from the karma that has caused me to take this demoniac form. And I would like that my dead body be eaten by all other living entities. Let them be happy. At least my body will not get wasted. And I want to die in such a way, remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, I can attain the destination which great sages like Narad Muni have attained. So Vritrasura is very clear. Vritrasura is neither aiming for a kingdom, nor is he aiming for heaven. Heaven in the sense, higher worlds. Vritrasura is clear. I just want to finish my karma, my whatever account which has caused me to come here because of some past mistakes. I want to leave my body remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, come back to God. So even if you kill me, I have no problem. And then he gives a suggestion to Indra, very interesting. Who gives such suggestions to their enemy? He tells him, first he chastises him, says, I will kill you. Then after that he says, Arey Baba, Indra, you have forgotten. Why you are throwing all these other misses? You forgotten the weapon that you have brought with you. There is the invincible weapon that you have, which is imbued with the power of the austerities of Dadichi Muni and fortified by Vishnu Mantra. It is so powerful. And that is the weapon you acquired. And that is the weapon to kill me. Use it. Use it. Why are you throwing useless things? Nothing else can affect me. And Indra is listening to all this. Probably still fallen down from Airavati, still looking at, what to do. But Indra is still shaken. He doesn't take his Vajra immediately. Why? because he thinks this Vritrasura is playing some tricks. Huh? Indra is also not confident. If I throw Vajra, maybe he'll catch my Vajra and again throw it back at me. Huh? So when Vritrasura sees that Indra is not confident, even after the Lord has blessed him directly, because he's like, it's not written that he did like that, but he's like, Arey yaar, he doesn't even have faith in what the Lord told him. You do this weapon, the Lord gave you, the Lord said you kill him with this weapon. Now I have to repeat what the Lord said. I have to give him lessons. Do like this, do like that. What is this? I only have to teach you how you will kill me. That too in the middle of the battlefield. I mean, he doesn't say all that. I'm just articulating, the whole thought process that seems to have been going in the background based on how this whole thing uh, falls out. And he said, don't have this doubt, because he could see that Indra is doubting, because he was thinking, I will throw my last weapon, this guy will catch it and throw it at me, and then everything is finished. All hell will break loose. Tells him, your victory is assured. Lord Vishnu has promised you victory. What more you can ask for? Somebody else said I could understand, but Lord Vishnu, huh? When Lord Vishnu favors a person and blesses him with victory, opulence, his good fortune is guaranteed. Nobody can be an impediment to the plan of the Lord. So become confident. Have faith. Have faith in the words of the Lord. Have faith, in the blessings of the Lord. And you kill me anyway. Once you kill me, I want to just wrap up your heavenly kingdom. You do whatever you want. I am gone. I just want to finish my. By your weapon of your thunderbolt, I will be cut from whatever little remaining material attachments I have. Gramya pashaha, my rope of material attachment. I'll be free from all material desires. Apavidha lokaha. And as I'm dying, my whole plan is Ante Narayana Smriti. To remember the lotus feet of the Lord. I am ready. Take your weapon. I will remember the Lord. And just like Lord Sankarshan said earlier, by remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, I will attain the supreme destination. Don't you know, Indra, that the Supreme Lord, if he's actually favorable to someone, the Lord is actually merciful to someone, then the Lord doesn't grant such a person opulences either on earth or on heavenly planets or the lower planets. All these blessings are useless blessings. You're a Devata, you should know this. Philosophy of Bhagavatam. The Lord is actually merciful to someone. His dedicated servants, his ekantadhyam, doesn't give them this kind of opulences. He doesn't encourage them to remain entrapped in the three varga, the three kinds of artha, dharma, artha, kama. He doesn't want. That is why the Lord is not very keen to give blessings of lot of opulence to his devotees. Why? Because actually these opulences are not the cause of good fortune. They actually cause hatred, agitation, anxiety, pride, quarrel, calamity, and lot of hard work. Just see your position. He doesn't say that, but essentially he's telling you, see, king of the heaven, always anxiety, fighting here, this, that. I'm not interested in this kind of blessings and this kind of destination. You want to fight, you want to keep your kingdom, you kill me, I will remember the Lord. My whole program is to go back home, back to God. So he gives this kind of high level spiritual instructions to Indra. So still Indra is not convinced. Indra is still playing some mind games with me. And usually for a devata like Indra, To expect these kind of conversations from a person who's perceived to be a demon, it's a bit odd. So probably he was, thinking this guy is just, playing some mind games. He's trying to trick me, this, that. Here, Vritrasura is becoming impatient. Impatient for what? He just wants to finish his business and go back home, back to Godhead. Are pheko, pheko. Throw the Vajra. Why you are delaying the whole matter? Huh? So basically, the whole objective of Vritrasura to create all that excitement and agitation. Sorry, I forgot to mention this, but what happened was initially at the beginning of the story, when when the devatas were chasing the demons and from back they were killing them, Vritrasur became so angry that he, with his feet, he started crushing the devatas. He was walking over them. So just like dry, hollow bamboos are crushed in the forest when somebody walks over them, like that the devatas' bodies were being crushed. And that is where actually Indra, became so agitated that he threw the mace to attack. So I just forgot that detail, so just recollected. So the whole objective of Vritrasura was to excite and agitate Indra so that he'll take the Vajra and throw. Then seeing that even all his chastisement, even all his reasoning is not getting Indra to do what he's supposed to do, and finally Vritrasura changes his appeal to actually praying to the Supreme Lord. So Lord, you only have to deliver me. Yeah. So he starts making very interesting prayers. So there are a couple of very, very beautiful verses. And these are the verses of a Mahabhagavad. So I'm going to recite this because they're very, very sweet. So the first prayer Vritrasura offers to the Lord. Aham hare tava padaika mula dasanudaso bhavitasmi bhuyah manah smaretasu pater gunamste grinitava karma karotu kayah. So he's showing his impatience. Oh Lord, when will I again become your servant? What kind of a servant? A servant who is fully taken shelter of your lotus feet. Why is using the word again? Because in his previous life he was such a soul. But somehow because of circumstances he received a curse which caused him to get a demoniac body. Of course, that should have been discussed later. When will I again achieve that position of full shelter at your lotus feet? I wish that my mind is continuously absorbed in remembering your transcendental qualities. I want my words to continuously describe your glories. I want my body to always be engaged in rendering devotional service to you. But this body is not suitable for all this. Can I please be rid of this body and get back body which will facilitate me to serve you in this way? And then in his mind, Vritrasur thinks, if I pray like this, maybe the Lord may give me freedom from misery by giving me some beautiful body in this material world, giving me something in heaven, or maybe even give me mukti. Maybe the Lord may feel that I'm aspiring for freedom from suffering. So he immediately clarifies in the next verse to the Lord, to tell the Lord that actually, Lord, my pain is separation from you. Don't give me anything which will cause any barrier between me and Nanakaprishtam nacha parameshthyam na sarvabhaumam na rasadipatyam na yoga siddhir apunarbhavam va samanjasatva virahaya kangshe. Very sweet verse. I don't want the kingdom of Brahma. I don't want the heavenly planets. I don't want to rule over this entire Bhauma. Huh? Nor do I want rulership over the lower planetary systems. I don't want mystic perfections. I don't want even liberation. My heart is not hankering for that. My heart is simply in extreme anxiety, feeling separation from you. Virahaya kangshe. What is my anxiety? Viraha. So please do not misinterpret my prayers and give me uh, bhukti, siddhi, or mukti, because that will still keep my mind agitated. My problem is my separation from you. So if you really want to fix the problem, my request to you is, please allow me to continuously serve you. And then he gives a very, very beautiful example. Another very beautiful verse. Ajata paksha iva mataram khagaha tanyam yatha vatsa sarakshudha artaha priyam priyeva jusitam vishanna mano arvindaksha dridrikshate tvam. So he gives very beautiful three examples, huh, of what kind of love he wants for the Lord, what kind of anxiety he has for the Lord. Just like a small birdling, a small baby bird who's waiting in a nest. When birds are very small, they cannot get out of the nest. They're just waiting eagerly for the mother bird to come back to the nest and feed. I don't know whether you've seen in any wildlife documentaries. When the when the mother bird comes back with some food, maybe a worm or some fruit or something back to the nest, how glad all the baby birds become. They're chirping, and the mother is feeding them. It's like that. I'm so excited. That's the kind of excitement I want. Huh? Or just like a hungry calf of a cow, eagerly waiting when the mother cow will feed milk. That kind of eagerness, huh? That kind of, I want to receive the affection, the form of the how the cow feeds, mother cow feeds a calf. Or he says, just like a wife whose husband has gone away on a long trip, she's eagerly waiting for her husband to come back. Huh? We see. Huh? I don't know, nowadays in Hindi films they don't have these kind of songs, but previously, older Hindi films, they would have a song where the wife is alone at home and she would sing waiting for the husband to come back. Nowadays, I think the mentality has changed. They're not bothered if the husband is away. Good, let me have a good time. Huh? In those days, for the wife to have the association of the husband and the opportunity to serve the husband was their wealth. So that is their great wealth. So how a wife, a chaste wife, is eagerly waiting for the husband to come back so that she can serve the husband and also enjoy the association of her husband. Like that, I am feeling that kind of a intense separation from you. So wonderful examples, huh, he gives. And then after saying these big, big things, Vritrasura suddenly feels, oh, am I asking too much from the Lord? Am I actually so exalted that I am saying you are like my husband, I am like your wife, I am waiting. So suddenly he becomes very humble. Even though actually he's a very, very exalted soul. He's well qualified to make these kind of statements. By his natural humility, he feels, ज़्यादा बोल दिया मैंने. Yeah, I spoke too much. So very humbly, huh, he says, ममोत्तमश्लोकजनेषु साख्यं संसारचक्रे भ्रमतः स्वकर्मभिः त्वन्माययात्मात्मजदारगृहेषु आसक्तचित्तस्य ननाथ भूयात्. Very beautiful. Amazing. It is, I'm asking two big things. So then he comes down, then now he starts praying as if he's a sadhaka. Actually, he's a siddha. He suddenly likes praying like a sadhaka. And what he says, oh Lord, just give me this much. If what I asked is too much, just give me this much. As long as I am roaming around in this material world, because of my karma, correct? Great souls, even though they may be very exalted, they think I am suffering in this life because of my own karma. As I am wandering this material world because of my own reactions, of my own karma, I simply seek association and friendship, uh, of your devotees. grant me that association and friendship of enlightened devotees, not just any devotee, but enlightened devotee who are also attached to you like this. And parallelly, give me the blessing that I may not be attached to materialistic things like body, family, wife, wealth, etc. If you give me this much also, I'm sure very soon I'll come back to you. If I'm detached from matter and I'm attached and present in the association of your devotees, then attaining your lotus feet is a natural consequence. So, in that very beautiful way, Vritrasura prays. And this sentiment is reflected across the Bhagavad. You see across the Bhagavad, the prayers, you'll rarely come across any prayer which says, oh, take me back home, back to God. Prayers will be very similar to like with what Vritrasura said. Let me have association and friendship with devotees. Let me have constant remembrance of you. Let me not forget you. Let me not be attached to materialistic things. Let me always be engaged in serving you. Because when you are fixed in the means, the goal is guaranteed. So in this way, in the middle of the battlefield, loudly Vritrasura is almost like giving a Bhagavatam class, 4 or 5 verses. But still, unfortunately, at least it's not mentioned here, nobody got transformed, even though such a wonderful Bhagavatam class happened. Even Indra did not. So to get transformed is not so easy. To be simply in the presence of great souls is not the same as actually taking their association. So this is a very sacred principle. So Vritrasura is such a great soul. Indra is also a great soul because he's a devotee of the Lord, but is at a totally different level. He's a Ekantika Bhakta. Indra is a Karma Mishra Bhakta. Both are devotees. But for both of them, their priorities are different. Vritrasura is only interested in removing all barriers which are preventing him from taking exclusive shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. And Indra wants the Lord, wants to serve the Lord, but also wants his kingdom. And he is expecting the Lord to fix his problem so that he can get back his kingdom. You understand? I'm just contrasting. Of course, no offense to anyone. So this is how the consciousness is contrasted. Because Vritrasura, as he already mentioned in his prayers, is very clear. These kind of blessings are only the cause of anxiety, misery, envy, competition. It's not going to give me any. That this is the firm realization of those who are actually advanced. So if we are developing this kind of conviction, that means we are becoming purified. That we have to individually ask ourselves. We can say big things. Individually, we have to ask ourselves, what is in my consciousness? Am I feeling intense separation? You may say we are feeling intense separation, but if Krishna says that I'll give you some big material blessing, you say, okay, Lord, I'll come to you, but maybe I will just enjoy this a bit and then I'll come to you. Take a little bit of a break. So that brings us to the end of the chapter. The battle hasn't concluded. This chapter is it's a short chapter, 27 verses, and the story continues. And we will continue our discussion of how this progresses further. Very interesting. So what I'll do is we have 15 minutes before we get into question and answers. If you have any questions, please hold them. I also want to take the opportunity to glorify Shri Bhavani Shankar, Lord Shiva and Bhavani, because their blessings are very important for all sadhakas. So we'll speak a few words in their slowly for our purification and seek their blessings because they are also the father and mother of the material world. Krishna and Radharani are ultimately the father and mother everywhere, but especially in their form of Shiva and Parvati within the material world. The same Hari with his internal energy Rama manifests as Shiva and Parvati cause the manifestation and expansion of this material world. I'm not going to be discussing about Shiva Tattva, that's a very, very vast topic. But just to put it very simple, Shiva is that form of Krishna through which the Lord comes in contact with Maya. Usually, the Lord being transcendental, the Lord doesn't directly consort or interact with Maya because Maya is his external energy. The Lord only directly interacts with his internal energy as Radharani, as Sita Devi, as Lakshmi Devi, as the gopis. But when that same energy has a shadow form as Maya, as Parvati, as Durga, the same Lord who's Vishnu, Narayan, Krishna, Rama, takes a form of Lord Shiva. Because Lord Shiva, in the form of Shambhu, Shankar, he connects with material energy. And that connection makes material manifestation possible. How exactly it makes it possible, that's a very detailed topic. I don't want to go into that. But essentially, the contact, if you understand this, good. If you don't understand this, it's okay. But essentially, the contact of the Supreme Lord with the material energy in the form of Shambhu Tattva creates the necessary transformation, which is the bridge between spiritual consciousness and matter, which is the material consciousness, the false ego. Taijasa, Tamasa, and Vaikarika, these three kinds of transformed consciousness are produced by the contact of the glance of Vishnu on material energy. That contact is Shambhu Tattva. So, Mahashivratri is a very, very auspicious occasion. Philosophically, our desire is that because that contact is producing a material consciousness, we want Lord Shiva's blessing because he can help us to purify that contaminated consciousness so that we can go back to pure consciousness. He is the Lord of that ego consciousness. Of course, the original Lord of that ego consciousness, the predominating deity, is Lord Sankarshan. And that is why Lord Shiva worships Sankarshan. But in the material world, the deity which predominates or executes that function is Lord Shankar. So Mahashivratri is the auspicious day where Lord Shiva and Parvati got married, very auspicious. So I'll speak a few words about their very extraordinary marriage. Now, the marriage of Shiva and Parvati is a very, very wonderful subject matter. So, of course, there is this beautiful pastime of how the material energy previously incarnated as Sati, when she gives up her life. We discussed that already in the Bhagavatam. Then later she becomes born as Parvati. And then there is a lot of interesting episodes. And finally, the marriage of Lord Shiva and Parvati happens. So there are a lot of interesting episodes. Very beautiful, very purifying. We'll not go into that now because of limitations of time. So it is said this marriage of Shiva and Parvati happened in the Himalayas, particular place known as Triyugi Narayan. So there is even to this day a temple of Triyugi Narayan at that particular place, a very special place. It is said the marriage of Shiva and Parvati, the priest who actually performed the marriage was Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma was the priest. He had sat on one rock, which is known as the Brahma Shila. It is still there, that place, Triyugi Narayan. And the one who will do Kanyadan, So the Kanyadan for Parvati Devi, of course, Parvati Devi is a father. I do not know the circumstances, but it is said the Kanyadan of her was done by Lord Narayan. So Lord Narayan acted as the brother of Parvati, and he handed Parvati to Lord Shiva. So it is said the fire of that sacrifice, the marriage ceremony, is still burning up to this day. So if you ever go to this Triyugi Narayan temple, and Lord Shiva at that time had requested Lord Narayan that please remain here, in this particular place for 3 yugas. So that's why that place is known as Triyugi Narayan. So it's a very sacred place. I haven't visited that place, but I heard this narration from a devotee, so I'm just sharing it as I heard it. I don't know many more details besides this. But this is how it is described. There may be many descriptions of Lord Shiva and Parvati's marriage. Sometimes different Puranas may also describe it slightly differently because Lord Shiva and Parvati also come different creations again and again and again. So Lord Shiva is an eternal tattva. Durga Devi is eternally the material energy. But in the Leela of the creation of the material world, Lord Shiva appears from the eyebrows, from the forehead of Lord Brahma, from between his eyebrows, Shankar, yeah. And then, his eternal consort, the divine energy, appears in various forms, either as Sati or she appears as the daughter of uh, the Himalayas and becomes Parvati and then gets united with Lord Shiva so that they will stay in this world, right? We discussed about various places within this universe, including Ilavarta Varsha, where Lord Shiva and Parvati are residing. So they are present and accessible within this material world. Of course, accessible not to us, but at least for the heavenly beings to some extent. Lord Narayan is not so accessible. You cannot just walk in to Shweta Dvipa, not just go and seek appointment or ring a bell and go, no. But Lord Shiva is a bit more accessible as compared to Lord Vishnu. So on this auspicious day, for us as devotees, we also see Lord Shiva not just as Maheshwara, a great Lord, as an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who predominates over the Tamoguna, the master of the destruction of this world. All these things are true. But for us, we are more interested in the spiritual side, the inner mood of Lord Shiva. The innermost mood of Lord Shiva is that he is the greatest Vaishnava. Vaishnava Nam Yathasham. You'll see his involvement in Ram Leela, you will see his involvement in Krishna Leela. That he's so attached to Krishna Leela, Lord Shiva, that he becomes a gopi in the Ras Leela. And is there in this form of Gopeshwara Mahadev. Actually, he wasn't even fully allowed entry, but he was made to stand at the gate. But at least he was there and he was watching and he got that blessing. After he transformed himself into a female form. So, so much can be spoken about him. So for us, our prayers to Lord Shiva should be in the role that he is the greatest Vaishnava and the blessings of the greatest devotee are valuable for us. Of course, when we as sadhakas, as Krishna Bhaktas, approach any of the devatas for that matter, we approach them as Vaishnavas. And Lord Shiva is the greatest amongst them. So we always want to seek the blessing of pure devotional service. Lord Shiva is in possession of pure devotional service, so he can give. Durga Devi is in possession of pure devotional service, she can give. Indra may not be able to give, but these personalities can give. There are some amongst the devatas who are pure devotees. They can give. And Lord Shiva, because of his particular position as the predominating deity over our consciousness, so we can also request Lord Shiva to grant us the Shivatva. Shiva means auspiciousness. What is true auspiciousness? True auspiciousness means not just having wealth, not just having material enjoyment, but rather being purified of all contaminations, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, and being able to fix one's consciousness in love and servitude on the lotus feet of Lord Shri Hari. So that kind of purification of the ego, to move from the false ego towards pure ego, that definitely Lord Shiva can. That definitely Lord Shiva can. He is fully capable of giving us in his position as a Vaishnava, not in his position just as a Devata, but in his position as a Paramahansa, Mahabhagavat, Vaishnava. He can grant us the blessing of pure devotion. So let us offer our respectful obeisances. Bhavani Shankar, I said Bhavani Shankar because it is their marriage anniversary. So I remembering both of them. So they are also our father and mother. So we always should seek their blessings. The blessings are always very valuable. Of course, we seek the right kind of blessings, like what Vritrasura said. Correct? We don't want to seek the wrong kind of blessings. The wrong kind of blessings, in fact, it is said that because Lord Shiva is more easily pleased, generally the demons go to him. Demons don't go to Lord Vishnu because Lord Vishnu doesn't give all this. He's very clear. So Lord Shiva, they'll go and they'll pester him. Give me, give me. Lord Shiva is so busy chanting the holy names, he'll say, okay, this person is disturbing too much. Take and go, get lost. So demons are such that once they are given their material blessing, they will go away for some time. They'll not bother Lord Shiva. So Shiva will continue his chanting. Chanting Ram Nam, meditating on Sankarshan. So they also, Shiva and Parvati also uh, represent a very ideal example of a Grihastha life. A chaste wife and a detached husband. It's a perfect combination. And with illustrious children like Ganapati and Kartikeya, how glorious it is. So, this is as perfect as what a family life in material world can become. uh, so let us seek their blessings always, and may they purify our consciousness and may be able to fix our mind on the Shri Bhavani Shankar ki jai. Mahashivratri Mahotsav. Very much. So I'm opening up the floor. Yeah, Suresh Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhu. I'm not sure this is a relevant question, but Prabhuji, Vritrasur is demon in this life, right? And previous life he had a devotee life, and similar was a Kamsa also, right? If I mean, I don't remember.
Yeah. So what
But
is the question?
the question is, Vritrasur still in the demonic life is able to remember Lord everything. Kamsa at one point when that Durga Devi appears, that he realize and he will release Vasudeva and Devaki, and he will plead for sorry. But immediately he's been influenced by his subordinates, telling that you should not be like this and you should start killing all the childs which are born. So what is the difference here, Prabhu? Both were devotees earlier, right?
So it is a matter of Leela. Kamsa is playing a particular role. Of course, Kamsa is Jay and Vijay, right?
Huh.
Yeah, so they have come down in that role, and in that role, for the purpose of pastime, they're manifesting themselves in a demoniac character which suits that particular purpose, right? So Vritrasur's pastime is different. Vritrasur uh, was not forgetful of his spiritual position, even though he got the body of a demon.
Okay.
Okay, so Kamsa, it appears based on how the Bhagavatam and the other scriptures get that even though he's a pure devotee originally, when he was manifested as Kamsa or Ravan, they were not cognizant of uh, their original position. They were behaving in a particular way by the will of the Lord to facilitate a particular Leela. But Vritrasura's example seems to be like that of Bharat Maharaj, who because
Mm.
of a mistake became a deer, but did not forget who he was. So Vritrasura was cursed and he became a demon, but he did not forget his spiritual knowledge. His body became demoniac, but he did not forget his transcendental knowledge. So that's a special blessing. So that is why he was just thinking, just like the deer, right? The Bharat who became the deer, he was just waiting. I just want to wait until I die, so I get rid of this unfortunate situation which has come upon me because of some mistake or some circumstance. Correct? So similarly, Vritrasur knew that he was born for this purpose. That was the mistake. Then he was put into this body for this purpose. Let me just, play it out and wrap it up as soon as possible so I can get released from this and go back home back to God. So he was never forgetful
So,
of his
Prabhuji,
original
so
purpose.
again, if someone is a devotee also, it's all depends on Lord, so that at what time that devotion can manifest again.
No, it depends on the Lord. See, we are not talking about these are very, very great, extraordinary personalities, either liberated souls or Paramahamsas who are put into a particular situation. We are not in that league. We're
Yeah.
not in that league. Yeah. So for us, it's very simple. Krishna will reciprocate with us based on our desire. It's all a matter of desire. If we are sincere, if we are not offensive, if we are following the instructions of the spiritual master, doing our sadhana, maybe because of weakness or not being so advanced, we may become temporarily bewildered, but we will not be waylaid entirely if we remain within the boundary of the spiritual practices as given by our uh, spiritual masters. So yes, until we become purified, but if our desire itself is different, then of course, ultimately the Lord will respect what the living entity desires. If we want to give up the Lord will give us that freedom. But if sometimes we are temporarily distracted because of overwhelming power of Maya, and there may be an element of also mistake on our side, as long as that mistake is not because of offenses, deliberate offenses. Somehow, even if there may be some little disturbance and some little accidents along the way, we'll still be able to stand up and continue our path without much damage. Understand what I mean?
Prabhuji, the second question, a small question. Regarding the last class, Tarun Prabhu was asking about trees, right? Trees, I somewhere I was reading like they've been punished so that they remain naked. I mean, and they are like let to go through all sufferings. Sometimes people take fruits, leaves, they cut the trees, all those things. So, is that not a faster progress of evolution for them?
What do you mean faster?
I mean, they have to suffer also, standing alone.
Yeah, but if they are given Mahaprasad of the Lord, if they hear the holy name, they
Yeah,
will
that's what
they'll
I'm saying.
immediately evolve, right? So they'll become free from their sins.
Yeah. So I'm telling about regular process. So regular process also they already in a harsh punishment, right, Prabhu? Standing.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So what does that? What are you trying to say? In that
So
harsh punishment, they are getting liberated from that harsh punishment and getting a
uh,
faster, quick
yeah,
evolution to a human form of life.
yeah, human form of like something without we watering like giving them the prasad and so just trying to understand, Prabhu. So
So that's good for them, right? So if they are skipping hundreds and thousands of lifetimes, 8.4 million lives, right?
uh,
8.4 million lives coming back home, I mean, coming back to human form, and trees are much lower, in the list. So many lifetimes they are saved.
Oh,
They
okay.
will get an opportunity in the human life, and they will get another opportunity to fix themselves, and they can avoid that wastage of so many lifetimes, going through so much of suffering.
So are they lower than the animal life when in terms of this one? The spiritual consciousness.
Yes,
Okay.
these are amongst the very low ones.
Yeah, got it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Who's next? Sridhar Prabhu. Okay, Sridhar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. The same doubt, like Shantanam Prabhuji asked, like in
What
Babur,
is his question?
actually Shishupal and Dantavakra is the think born as
Yeah,
can
yeah,
Vijay, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Correct, correct. Yeah. But the point is, even Kamsa is also uh, not an ordinary demon. He is an associate of the Lord who he plays the Leela. He's in that same uh, category. He's what is more important is the category. Yeah, correct. That is Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, then Kumbhakarna Ravan, and Dantavakra and Shishupal. Yes, that is correct. So yeah, I stand corrected like that. Yeah, but Kamsa is also very prominent character in all Krishna Lila. But what is actually important? What I'm saying is the important point for this discussion is that certain living entities, even though they may be in a demoniac circumstance or a body, their consciousness is that of devotees. Correct? For example, Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says, of all the demons, I am Prahlad. Why Prahlad is referred to as a demon? Not because he's demoniac, but he was in that family. But he's the best amongst them because he's a devotee. So he's a sura amongst the asuras, sura varya. So similarly, Vritrasura is a demon by birth, but he's not demoniac. So it is possible for a devotee to be born in a demoniac family because of certain specific karma and some specific background. That is a possibility. But amongst very great souls who happen to be born into such a circumstance, some of them have an explicit recollection of their previous life. But they are born into that circumstance because of certain very uh, special reasons and circumstances. So I think that is the more important point. So at least as far as Kamsa and others are concerned, uh, to the best of what we know, they were true to their character in the sense that they were, whether because of Yog Maya or Mahamaya, they were fully absorbed in that character. Because it was very clear. Because in this body, he knows why I'm in this body, what is my karma, what is my situation and circumstance, what am I supposed to do. That's why he's giving these beautiful prayers. We don't hear Kamsa offering these beautiful prayers. Ravan also, for that matter, he offers beautiful prayers towards the end when he's just about to die. That time he repents and he realizes and he accepts Lord Ram. Not until then. Until then, his ego was too powerful. So the point is that, so even though they may be eternal associates or great personalities, when they are in that situation, it is not that they are simply acting out. They may be pretty absorbed in their character to the point that they themselves may not know what's actually going on. Yeah, that was the point. Yeah, Sridhar Prabhu, you have something else, or your hand is still up?
No, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Okay, fine. Okay, so if there's nothing else, sorry,
One last
Suraj, you have
question.
raised your hand. Yeah, go ahead.
One last question. Prabhuji, you said Lord Shiva worships the Shankarshana and he also chants Ram name, right, Prabhu? So what is the difference here?
What is the difference? So Ram is also closely connected with Sankarshan.
But he is a eternal form, right, Prabhu, like Lord Krishna. He does not come under VSPA, right?
Sorry, who is an eternal form?
No, Lord Rama does not come under the Chaturvyuha expansions, right?
So there are different understandings. So yeah. I'm trying to recollect. There's a mention of Lord Shiva chanting Ram Nam. There's also a mention of Lord Shiva meditating on Sankarshan. So, so the connection between Sankarshan and Lord Shiva is that of Tattva. So you can think of Lord Shiva as a Tattva emanating from Sankarshan in that sense.
Okay.
Okay, so that is like his source, something like that you can understand.
Okay.
But his Aradhya is Ram also, and his Aradhya is Krishna also. So I know only so much. I don't know. So when we make more advancement, we will figure out what exactly is going on in their mind.
Basic doubt. Nothing advanced.
No, these are all very esoteric topics. So yeah, but he's so Sankarshan is the predominating deity of false ego, and uh, in the material world, the executor of that function is Lord Shiva.
Yeah.
So even Lord Shiva has different aspects. He's Shankar in the material world, but in the spiritual world, he's Sadashiva. Sadashiva comes from Sankarshan. Something like that. There is a lineage connection.
Yeah.
So different functions, false ego, Sankarshan. So the Chaturvyuha, so even in Ram Leela, right? Sometimes Ram, Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrugna are compared to the Chaturvyuha also. Right? Vasudev, Sankarshan, Aniruddha and Pradyumna. Right? Also, these four Chaturvyuha are also predominating deities of the false ego, mind, intelligence and senses. So there are multiple dimensions, these personalities. Different functions have a material devata, but also they have a form of the Lord who's the predominating deity of that potency.
Okay.
This is all mentioned in the Bhagavad, not outside the Bhagavad. So if you go into the details of the third, fourth chapter, the details of Sarga, all these things are also there.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So thank you very much. So next Saturday, we will continue our discussions on the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So thank you very much for joining. Tantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Lord Shiva ki Jai. Mahashivratri ki.
Jai.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna,
Hare
Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you
Hare
so
Krishna.
much.
Thank you
Hare
so much.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare
Neha
Krishna.
ji, thank you so much. Devi Mataji, her lab coat. Doctor's coat, I should not say lab coat, sorry. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Archana Mataji. Yes. Jamataji, thank you. Sridhar Prabhu and family.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yes, Sudhir Sundar Prabhu, thank you very much. And of course, Suraj and Shalini, as always, smiling.
Thank you.
Tarun, thank you. Sini
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anand Sundari Mataji, Indulika Mataji, thank you all very much. And Ram, thank you for joining as well. So I'll see you all.